So let me tell you this. I'm not here as a Democrat or a Republican. I'm here as an American who loves this country. And I'm an immigrant too. I'm an immigrant. I came to New Jersey, I came to America when I was 6 years old with my mom. We came from Poland. And I had the chance to grow up here in New Jersey, in Princeton. And one of the things that I learned as a kid, almost right away, was that I was in a country. I was lucky enough to be growing up in a country where anybody can be an American. No matter where you come from, no matter what language you speak. I had a funny last name. My mom had a thick Polish accent. I was 100% American by the time I was 7 years old because I bought into the principles, the ideals of this country. That's what this is all about. You want to know how I became an American? I memorized the names of all the presidents going back to George Washington. I played Little League Baseball. I could tell you who won the World Series in 1908. That's what it's all about. It didn't matter where I'd come from. None of the rest mattered. And when I grew up, when I got a bit older, when I traveled around the world and got a bit wiser, I realized something else, that we are the only country in the world that is like that. We're the only country where we do not, thank you. We don't define belonging, we don't define nationality based on race, based on the color of our skin, based on our faith, based on our culture, our creed. We define it based on embracing this idea, and that is the greatest advantage this country has over every country in the world. That's why we get the best people. That's why generation after generation we have gotten the scientists and the entrepreneurs and the inventors, people who come here, who work their butts off, who serve in the military, who hire people, who create jobs, who sacrifice for this country, and who pass on those traditions of love of America and love of hard work to their children and their grandchildren. That is America. We are a country of immigrants, and we are a country of laws, and don't let anybody tell you that those two things are in opposition to each other, because they are not. Those families, those moms and dads who are coming to the border with their kids, who are fleeing violence and persecution, who have risked everything to get there, they are not breaking the law. They are not sneaking across the border. They're not trying to evade immigration authorities. They are presenting themselves to us. They are exercising a right that is enshrined in the laws of the United States of America to ask for asylum from violence and persecution. They are not, of course they're not. And we don't have to give it to them, but we have to hear them out. That is the law. So don't tell me this is about law and order. We are on the side of law and order here at this rally. So yes, it is heartless. It is heartless to take kids away from their parents because you want to put pressure on them to give up that legal right. It is shameless to say that previous administrations did this, just as it is heartless and shameless to tell dreamers that they need to go to a country that they've never lived in, give up the only country they've ever known. But it's not just heartless, it's not just shameless, it is lawless. And we're not going to stand for that. If it was about upholding the law, Donald Trump wouldn't need to tweet that he wants an immigration system without judges and without lawyers. What is that about? Now, I want to ask you all a question. I see you all have come prepared for this rally. You've got your sunscreen, you've got your sunglasses, you dressed more sensibly than I did. You've got signs that are a hell of a lot better than any signs I've seen the other side hold. But let me ask you this, thank you. Let me ask you this. Raise your hand if you brought your birth certificate to this rally. I don't see too many hands raised. So let me ask you, can you prove you're a United States citizen today? Can you prove you're a United States citizen? Imagine a country where we don't have courts and judges, which is what the president seems to want. Any single one of us.
That's pretty fashion.
I don't care if we're born in this country, I don't care if we came here like me legally, every single one of us is vulnerable in a country like that, and it's not just happening on the US-Mexican border. Because under the law, unfortunately, ICE seems to think they've got a right to harass people 100 miles from any border, and the border's not just US-Mexico, US-Canada, it's the New Jersey shore. We are in that zone, standing here today. They have shut down interstate highways in Maine, demanding every single American stop their car and show that they are a United States citizen. My mother did not bring me here from a communist country to live in a place where the authorities could stop you on the street and demand your papers. That is not America. We are better than that. And you know what? I read a few days ago that the Department of Homeland Security, they stood up a task force to start reviewing naturalized citizens to the United States, see whether they should take away their citizenship.
That's me.
So,
Are you kidding me?
I have a message for the Secretary of Homeland Security. You better hurry up, because this naturalized citizen is coming to the United States Congress in January. I don't think you're going to stop me. And when I get there, let me tell you, I'm not Leonard Lance. In case you haven't noticed. I'm not going to be deploring some of these terrible things every other Tuesday when I'm scared of losing re-election. I'm going to be doing something about it. I'm not going to be voting for leaders of the House of Representatives who refuse to bring a single bill to the floor of the House to protect the families, to protect the dreamers, to compromise on immigration, to do anything that is right. If I were in the Congress right now, if we had a Democratic majority in the House of Representatives, here's the difference. We would have passed a bill to protect the dreamers months ago. That's the difference. If I were in the House now and we had a Democratic majority, we would have passed comprehensive bipartisan immigration reform months ago. If I were there now, we would have passed a bill to reunite those kids with their families within 24 hours of learning that that was happening. But the leaders he votes for, they will not even allow that to have a vote. That is the difference. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to raise our voices. We are not going to get discouraged. We're going to know the power that we have. You guys have all the power in the world. We are not going to be distracted. We're not going to be distracted by anybody. We're not going to be distracted. We're not going to be distracted by the latest tweet. We're not going to be distracted by Melania's jacket. We're not going to let the affront to decency and American values of this week make us forget about what happened last week. We are not going to rest until every single one of those kids is reunited with their parents. We are going to come out to vote this November, not as Democrats, not as Republicans, but as Americans. We are going to reclaim this country's values as a country of immigrants, as a country of law. Thank you very much. Thank you.